team down. I think that was a good timeout in order to get these guys to remember what their job is on 4th and short. They've got to execute perfectly on this play for the first down.
Assumedly, well, he might not want to try to hand the football off.
I think they'll give it to Burks. I think they got to go with the horse.
Ashcroft standing right behind him. They hand it off to Jeff Burks, and Burks has the first down. It's just a matter of how much more. 3 yards on it. We'll call it 2 and make it official, and it'll be first down and 10. Ball is down at the 49-yard line of the Lathrup Chargers.
Now you'll see what I'm talking about with leg drive. Watch Jeff Burks push, push, push. He keeps those legs moving all the time, head down. That gets him a first down.
Dan Hope trying to open a hole. This is the 8th play of this drive.
Berkley needs to capitalize. Got to take this one in.
Nothing else for the confidence of the junior quarterback.
Absolutely.
Miles to Burks. He goes to the outside. Wimes has him.
Fumble.
There was a fumble on the play, and the Lathrup Chargers have come up with it. And Tim Wimes, I believe, no, Jenkins comes up with it, but it was Tim Wimes who caused it by grabbing Jeff Burks almost immediately after he got the football.
I think you'll see Jeff Burks might be a little tired. He's carried the ball about 5 times in a row. He gets caught by Wimes and spun around in a circle, and that causes the ball to fly loose. Good heads-up play by Lathrup defense to get on that ball. Berkley's going to have to play real tough now, execute properly on defense, play real solid, hope for a turnover. They can't let Mr. Falls get out there, because if he does, it could be another 6 points real quick.
We're at 10:20 to go in the 4th quarter, 14-0 Lathrup, and back goes Tiki Ghost to throw. He's looking. He fires. Marvin Falls up, and a little bit over the hands of Marvin Falls. Coverage was there. Burks up front and Sikowski behind him, but had the pass been thrown not quite as high, Marvin Falls would have had the football.
It's a nice pattern. It's a little drag pattern. He takes it in to about 10 yards and then breaks it out to the outside. Unfortunately, it's just a little too short to catch that ball from Tiki Ghost. I'll tell you what I saw in that play, Jimmy. Tiki Ghost could have run for 20 yards. Everybody was back with Marvin Falls.
Good first down call, though. Now Jenkins will go to the right-hand side, and he'll be joined in the slot on the right by Marvin Falls. The ball at the 46-yard line, Lathrup territory. Tiki hands it off to Willie Norwood, and Norwood gets about 3 to midfield. Officially, it is 4, up off the bottom 66. Well, let's make it 68 and call it Rick Barber. So, 3rd down, 6 yards to go. 9:50 to go in the 4th quarter. And there is the turnover story, and Lathrup has scored on 2 of them.
Well, I think what that also shows is we know Pat Fox has a young team. It is the first game. You hope to eliminate those.
They have scored on 1 of them, and this drive began after a turnover.
Key play here.
Well, a lot of motion, and most of it illegal, and Marvin Falls tries to get out of it, and the further back he goes, the further away the punt by Tiki Ghost will have to go.
Berkley will decline this penalty now, because that was going to be an illegal motion call in the defensive backfield. So they'll decline the penalty, take the loss, and force Southfield Lathrup to punt the ball back to him.
12-yard loss on the play. And so Ghosh will try his second punt. It was an 18-yarder the last time. They're discussing, and really not much to talk about, Gary.
9.5 to play, though. Pat Fox has got to start thinking of something. Got to come up with some way to a long established drive is not what he needs now. He needs a quick score to get his team confidence back up and get into this game.
You know, this game has been kind of penalty-free. The number of penalties that have been called have really not been the kind of penalties or the amount of penalties you'd expect in the first game. And that's a credit to both coaches in their preparation. Well, Tiki's got 3 guys back there making sure that he does not get in physical harm. He gets this one away a little further than the last one. It'll bounce high into the air. They better go down and touch it, and they do at the 40-yard line. This was a 21-yard punt. So the Berkley Bears will take over now at their own 41-yard line. They trail it 14-0, and it has not been for a lack of offensive effort by the Berkley Bears. They have been able to move the football.
Again, turnovers has been the real reason. They've had some great drives and had a great opportunity to score, and the turnovers have killed them. Let's hope they can pull something together here. If nothing else, for Trevor Miles' confidence.
They got Troy next week, we were told, and that's going from the frying pan into the fire, so to speak.
It's an inferno over there, Troy.
You bet. They tried Cascade this time, and Tim Wimes was over there, and Willie Cheatham was over there, and they had that one smelled out. So they tried to go away from Jeff Burks for a little bit of variety, but that doesn't seem to work.
Oh, we saw that play earlier. That's that counter play you try to run. It's a slow developing play. The blocking has to be sustained. Execution across the line has to be perfect, or that play will lose yardage every time.
-4 on it, and so that'll bring up a second down. 14 yards to go.
Fatigue may be showing on some of these two-way players right now. It's pretty warm out there.
They will go with a pass to the outside. It is completed, and down the sideline goes Carson, and Carson, or rather Burks, I should say, goes all the way down to the 5-yard line. However, that is one that will probably be brought back.
Unfortunately, this is a real nice play. Probably one of the better passes Trevor's thrown because he was in the clear. He could see where he was throwing the ball, and he put it right out there to Mr. Burks, who takes it a long way. Unfortunately, it's going to come back. And I guess you don't mind if I get a little critical, Jim, but I think the call's going to be ineligible or illegal receiver downfield. Number 68, one of the offensive linemen, got himself about 3 or 4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
And, you know, I always have a theory. If it's a holding call, I always say that if they hadn't been holding, the quarterback would have been tackled. But an ineligible man downfield, you can't really say that type of thing about it. And it cost them a 49-yard pass completion and their best field position of the entire football game. And it is holding.
And, of course, I was totally wrong. It is holding.
And as I was saying, usually when there's a holding call, if I always theorize that if the guy wasn't holding, that that play wouldn't have been able to develop anyway.
Well, that's correct. It is unfortunate that it was away from the play, and it was the judgment of the official to make that call.
Second down, about 23 yards to go from the 28. Miles is hit, and they're going to. I was looking to see if they were going to throw a flag for roughing the quarterback, but he just got nailed.
Well, I think the reason is because Mr. Wimes is about 6'4", and Mr. Miles is about 5'8", so he was just naturally hitting him from his numbers into Mr. Miles's helmet.
Well, the official was right on top of it. The pass was intended for Zukowski on the left-hand side, and so we are up to third down and warm up the bus. Call your travel agent, whatever.
Well, Trevor's starting to put a little more zip on his passes. Yep. I'm sure he realizes that it's a little more of a pressure situation now.
They'll go with the 2 setbacks this time and 1 wing, and that's Ryan Cascade. They hand it off to Burks, and Burks goes nowhere. Burks is wrapped up and thrown down. Jeff Wasser was over there. Let's check it. Charles Hewley and Jeff Wasser. 56 and 7 and 87 respectively.
That was Ken Carson, by the way. I think they gave Burks a little rest.
Right. Well deserved, we might add.
Well, now Mr. Carson's walking off rather slowly, so I'm sure the fatigue is starting to set in. It's pretty warm out there, and these guys go in 2 ways in 85-degree heat. First game of the season, it's going to wear on you.
See what Rick Barber can do now with his punts. He's averaged 33 yards on his 2 punts in this football game. A little less than 33. That's what happens when I don't look at Barry. It is grabbed by Johnny Hackle, who gets a good block from Marvin Falls, but across the field, number 52, Ethan Goldsmith, brings him down, and so a 32-yard punt, an 11-yard return. See if they're going to call timeout. Looked like one of the Lathrup players either shaken up or they're discussing something.
There's a couple of flags on the play.
Right about the spot where the punt was kicked from.
That's a procedure call, Jim. They'll decline that, I'm sure. Yep.
All right, so we are now another opportunity for some great field position for the Lathrup Chargers.
Berkley's defense has got to raise up to the task here. They need a turnover. Got to cause something out there. They're going to give the ball back to the offense in good field position. This game is just about out of reach.
And we have 6:47 to go and counting in the fourth quarter. A couple of Marvin Falls touchdowns, a 47-yard pass from Tiki Ghosh and an 8-yard run. Jenkins will go to the left, Falls will stay in the backfield. Willie Morgan is in the backfield along with Tim Wimes. Interesting. Tim Wimes goes flying right up the middle. And we'll see who has him as they unstack. Number 36, Ryan Cascade, and also off the bottom of this one is number 52, Ethan Goldsmith. 4-yard pickup, 2nd down and 6. Mark the ball right at the 45-yard line of the Berkley Bears. Jenkins will come out of it going to the left side. Morgan's 31, 23 is Wimes, and Marvin Falls 1. That's the backfield behind Tiki Ghosh. Morgan has the football, the 1st down, and about 9 yards as he goes to the right side, is brought down across the way by Rick Barber, number 68. And so Willie Morgan shows his stuff, and that's where the depth in the offensive backfield is going to come from for Daryl Harper.
Good point, Jim, and I think one of the things you'll see now is Tiki Ghosh is instructed by Daryl Harper to keep this ball on the ground, make the clock move, keep it rolling. We'll get out of here with a W.
The other thing, too, is that uses Wimes defensively. He hasn't really played too much offensively, trying to keep the guys that go both ways a little bit fresher as well. And this is Tim Wimes. And the nice thing about Tim Wimes as he gets a couple of yards is that you don't see too many 6'4" running backs in high school football, or actually in any level of football. And at 6'4", he high steps him.
Yes, he does, no question. He's coming up limping a little bit right now, so you'll see Willie Norwood come in and replace him.
3-yard pickup there. They'll mark the ball at the Berkley 33-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and 7. 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and the Lathrup Chargers are on their way to their first victory in a long time, since the end of the '88 season. That's at the Silverdome against Southfield. Tiki, counterplay handoff this time, and the counterplay encounters number 67, Adam Perry, and Willie Morgan is brought down, and there's a flag in the backfield, the defensive backfield.
Probably holding.
A loss of 2 on that play, and we'll see what the penalty is.
Jim, that's just a kind of a fake pitch with an inside give to the second back. I'm pretty sure you've got holding in there. One of those lead blockers got somebody on their heels, and as they push him down, unfortunately, a lot of times they get their hands on their jerseys, and the official's going to have to call that holding anytime he sees it.
Goldsmith and Barber are out of the football game. A couple of changes, and while they are marching off the penalty, we want to remind you, too, that next week will be at Ferndale for the Southfield Blue Jays and the Ferndale Eagles, the opener of their respective SMA seasons. Frank will be back next week, and we'll have all the action for you 1 week from tonight right here on LO11. In fact, in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, we're going to see everybody in the franchise area, which is the first time we've been able to do that in a while. 2nd down, 19 yards to go from the 45. Tiki Ghosh is back to throw, fires it down the middle. Marvin Falls makes the catch and dives close to the 1st down. Zakowski got him from behind. Ryan Cascade was there as well.
That's a big league pass, Fry. You watch Mr. Falls here, number 1, Mr. Excitement in our hearts and minds. Look at him turn hard. That's just a little hook at about 10 yards, and then he gets the ball well delivered, catches it with his hands nice. Tiki Ghosh is impressing me.
3rd down and 1, so that makes it an 18-yard pass. 3 for 72 for Marvin in this football game, and he's got that 8-yard touchdown run, and now we're going to get a Daryl Harper Southfield Lathrup timeout. Clock was running down to a dangerous delay of game time, and so Daryl calls a timeout to give his kids a breather. 3rd down and 1. The armchair approach to traveling is best taken with the World Travel and Adventure Series. This week, host Kenneth Lawrence takes you on a trip to Ireland. So check at the LO11 program listing for the departure dates and times. Oh, Mary spent time writing these promos, we can tell. One of the Sue did. Sue Dignite, and we should thank Sue and Derek Robinson and John Cullen and whoever else was out taking care of the coaches during the summer for our Coaches Corner segment. It's something I had nothing to do with, and these guys should be real proud of that Coaches Corner segment. The first one was fantastic, and we're looking forward to one at halftime every week. And a couple weeks we're going to have 2 of them if the franchise warrants. Is this Tina's last game? All right. Well, we'll get a shot of Tina Trevan, who probably is well one of the finest interns we've had a chance.